Yeah, to talk about the black hole zone, this is really something you're doing if you're running on a cloud provider. So if you have a system that is based on any cloud provider you can imagine, like AWS, Azure, Google, whatever, they are normally running their infrastructure in so-called regions, and then inside of a region in different zones. So why is the zone so important? If something went wrong in one specific area of your cloud environment or your cloud provider, your system has been scaled across multiple zones, and then you can handle an outage of such a zone. This is something that will happen. You don't know when, but at some point in time, you will figure out this situation. So what is a good hypothesis to really start an experiment on? So I would like to know upfront if my system, which has been running on Kubernetes, and this Kubernetes cluster has been scaled across different zones of my cloud infrastructure. Now I would like to know if my services that are also scaled across those zones are able to work even under an outage of one single zone. So that is my expectation. And now I need to really execute this, but there are some steps needed. So what should I do first? First of all, I need to be able to answer the question if the system is still working and is it still delivering any results. So I need to implement or integrate something to really check and validate if my system is still able to deliver. Why is that important? Because I want to create an experiment and I need to know, like in software testing, unit testing, if my experiment will be successful or not. So getting back to the test case. Most of the time there will be an endpoint, something customer facing. That is a good indicator where you can start and really use this endpoint to check if your system can handle the now injected outage, which is the black hole zone attack. What does it mean if now this result is not delivered by your system? It means that something isn't distributed as needed. So this could mean that you are running on Kubernetes, different pods. Let's say out of 3 pods, there are 2 in one single zone. And now the zone is not reachable. That's a high impact for your application. And that is something you can validate and check with such an experiment.
Are there specific times that it makes sense to do this type of experiment? Or are there certain environments that it makes sense to prioritize?
It makes sense if you have a system with at least multiple instances. So your service has been executed in not one single instance. It's been really 3, 5, 7, whatever, how many instances do you need? And this is the starting point. So if, or do one step back, if you are running a service with one single instance and now you're creating an experiment and your experiment will create a black hole zone outage and this instance is running in that zone, I mean, you already know the answer. You shouldn't run this experiment because your system will not survive.
Is there anything else you think makes sense to mention on this attack for teams that have never done it before?
This kind of attack is an attack where you are starting on a very big blast radius. So what does it mean? If you're running a black hole zone attack on your cloud provider level, there is not just an impact for your applications. You're really simulating a zone outage, which also means everyone else is part of the party now because their applications are no longer working. Be careful.